Welcome back to Impossible Live. Welcome if you're joining us for the first time. And really, thank you so much for creating space, whether you're joining us live or you're joining us for a replay or you're just popping in on YouTube or Meta. And I'd love to share this virtual toast with you to thank Shawn Michael for joining us today and for suggesting such a cool song. One of the fun things about such talented guests, and I'm really delighted to have met Shawn Michael as a result of a fabulous introduction from amazing Kimberly Lechnick. And Kimberly hosts The Power of the Moment, and she's also having a really cool podcast opportunity tonight if you're live and on LinkedIn. And she's looking for future podcast guests. And Shawn also, besides just being wonderful, Shawn also has a new podcast and he's hosting amazing events and he's having fun speaking on stages. But one of the things I love about meeting Shawn is Shawn's a real reminder of right time, right space. We meet people on certain days at certain times who are there to either help us open a pathway, help us move a pebble out of the way. And I love it because Shawn says he's an inner potential activator. And boy, those are 3 words all in combo that I really feel every time we interact. So love to introduce you to Shawn. Jen, hey, welcome, Jen Berger. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Lots of sage energies in the house. And Shawn, please introduce yourself and let people know where they can find you and let them know a little bit more about you.
For inviting me to come speak on I'm Possible. I totally, like you said, we were connected through Kimberly and it was very serendipitous. Like it was just like an instant connection, like old friends that reunited after decades of separation. So for those that don't know me, I'm Shawn Michael, known as the Inner Potential Activator, aka Mindset and Accountability Coach. And I specialize in empowering high-achieving entrepreneurs, founders, coaches, and leaders to unlock their true potential by transforming their self-concept and subconscious blueprint. I've been where you are, driven, feeling held back by invisible barriers. But through my own journey, I've discovered the power of community, resilience, and strategic intervention to overcome those limitations. Now I help clients break free from self-imposed restrictions to achieve meaningful and lasting change. I focus on human needs psychology, emotional mastery, and relationship dynamics to craft personalized success blueprints that help clients release limiting beliefs, set clear visions, and take bold and effective action. So if you or anyone you know is ready to break through what's holding you back, let me know. Let's see what you have possible. Together, we'll turn obstacles into opportunities for growth and make your vision a reality. The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. That's where I spend the majority of my time. You can find me on Insta and X and all the other platforms, but LinkedIn is my home.
Well, thanks so much. Oh, so I'm laughing as I've received probably a million invites recently from friends to join them on Blue Sky. You know, it's a real reminder, as you would say, as we're showing up, we really have a choice of where we're spending our time and how we're spending our time. And I love in your introduction that you're mentioning emotional mastery, because in the trust certifications that I've been going through with amazing Yvette Bethel of Organizational Soul, she really helped me focus in on the emotional mastery piece. And I love what you're saying about that in terms of potential, because I didn't really realize that the emotion stuff it's so much where we're caught up. We're in a world sometimes where professionally we're not taught to express or share our emotions, especially in a variety of spaces. We're not sure it's necessarily safe or warm and fuzzy. It's one of the reasons why I love as Jen's joining us on the other side. And Jen is also an amazing returning guest who will be joining us in a couple of weeks. But it's, as Jen's saying, it's a really cool intro. And I know you're really working in terms of the gratitude space of showing up to help more people. And for that, we're all really grateful. Shawn, why did you pick this amazing song to share?
Because actually, I discovered this song. I was crashing against the wall, feeling kind of down, like life wasn't where I wanted it to be, and I started walking every day and just putting some energizing music, and I heard this song, and just the lyrics, both the fact that it's about being grateful for that I'm alive, that I'm breathing, that I have a family that loves me, I have a warm bed to sleep in at night, I have yummy cookies that my wife baked, her favorite time of the year. I have so much in this life. And, by being grateful, it changes everything. And it has changed everything for me in life. Just being grateful every moment for every little thing. Gotta get my vitamin G.
Well, I think that's wonderful as we're watching the hearts go up in the emojis. And I love that you're calling it a vitamin, because I think, you know, for decades I kind of was not expressing as clearly the desire to lean into what brightens our fragile world. And I'm really grateful in a community I was in last year for a short period of time that so many people didn't understand what I meant by fragile world. And I think it was a part of the positive intelligence journey. And positive intelligence now has PQ reimagines. It's a whole different, I guess, framework for how to share the tools and some of the systems and what we call sage energies. And I really appreciated in the process of, sometimes we're not necessarily speaking the same language, but I love what you're saying about turning it into like a vitamin G. This weekend, kind of in prep for our discussion, I started a new vitamin G journal. I'll have to call it now, Shawn. But I always had a gratitude journal, but I needed to start one from a different perspective, and I think from a different place. And I think that's the important part of what your kind of your introduction included, because it's about activating that potential. And we don't always do that. We don't always share that. Hi, Eugene, how are you? Welcome back. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us today. And Eugene, some more amazing energy in the house. um, I think I think that part, as you're saying, the potential part, and Eugene's saying it too. We're your vitamin G, your vitamin G, Shawn. You might have something there. We're gonna have to keep that. We're gonna have to all keep that, because I think we don't think all the time of sharing what we're grateful for. We don't think all the time of expressing gratitude. In some cases, unfortunately, we don't express it until it's too late. I'm learning intentionally as I'm encountering people who I haven't spoken with in a while. And I'm really excited because we've been connected on LinkedIn for 14 years. I don't think we've seen each other for the last 7 years. And I was delighted Angela reached out yesterday, and we'll have a conversation tomorrow. It's a reminder when I meet her to talk with her about the last time I saw her and maybe some things that I'm grateful for as a result of that experience. But I absolutely love your vitamin G because I think it's really reminding us we can cultivate gratitude, we can share it, we can I today's a cool day, just catching up on the weekend mail, and we went to a baby shower, family baby shower last week, and the most beautiful, beautiful thank you note from our niece. Just delighted and excited, and it was great to see her and to meet her family and to be part of, the love fest around a new baby coming. But it really helped me slow down a little bit and really pause to remember to really be grateful just for the opportunity of a couple of generations getting together and on a sunny day, and that the weather was cool, and the sun was shining. But I love what you're saying about the song kind of inspiring when we're not always feeling that resilience, shall we say, the get up and go. Um, I I'm delighted you shared it with me because I'm really looking at the lyrics, and underneath them, it's the reminder that occasionally in the journey, whether it's a life journey, an entrepreneurial journey, a collaboration journey, as family members, as our roles are changing, that this can be lonely sometimes. And I really appreciated the inspiration part of not just the tap in to what's in deep in a reserve, but just reach out and kind of keep going. There's some grit to it, some resilience to it, and I love that you were able to share this as a result of a walk. But what inspired you to share it in your podcast, and tell us a little more about that?
So, as I said, and I wish I could take credit for the vitamin G, but I actually saw this really like a short video. The speaker was talking about what if there was a vitamin or a supplement that would improve your mood, increase your resilience, enhance your immune system, help your empathy, self-esteem, sleep better, all of that. He's like, great, where do we buy it? Oh, you can't. It's not for sale in any store. There are so many benefits to gratitude. And I also, this, about the time that I was doing the walking, I was at the dollar store, which in Guatemala is not really a dollar, but you know how that goes. And there was a gratitude journal, and I'm like, hey, I said, told my wife, I need this. I need a gratitude journal. So I started doing a gratitude journal, and it just, that conscious effort of practicing gratitude, writing down every day at least 3 things that I could cite as being grateful for. And it just, it established a habit, so that it became automatic. It's, and I didn't have to force myself. It was just automatic. And the song really, like you said, the lyrics. I love the one that you sent me before we went live. The only thing I know is to love what I'm doing, never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. So, a little story. It was about 2014, 2015. We'd been living outside the US for a little over a year, and our savings was running out. So I knew I needed to do something to support my family. So I took a coaching course, and I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. And it aligned with my values of helping others, which I really cemented as like one of my top values, is contributing and helping others. And at the time, I was generating income through web development. Not something I love. It's one of those, if I think of the Ikigai Venn diagram or something like that says something you love, something you're good at, what the world needs, and what people will pay for. I had the I'm good at and people will pay for, but I didn't love it. Anyway, my last client canceled, so my income just went. And at the same time, I found out my wife was 9 weeks pregnant. I panicked and I put all my dreams of being a coach to the side. I said, I can't do that. I need to go find something that will earn an income now, something that I can rely on. And for 7 years, I did that. Just after my son's 5th birthday, at the new year, I felt the call on my heart that this is your dream. This is like what you're meant to do. And so my resolution, my intention for 2023 was to get back into my training, get through it, and do this. And with a renewed purpose, a renewed drive that I'm never, ever going to do that again. I will not give up under any circumstance. So that song really, like, I love this. It lights me up when I'm talking to someone and coaching them. I'm energized. I'm feeling so alive. And I don't ever want to lose that again. And actually, at a conference I went to, November 2023, it was called Super Coach, A New Identity. And on the second day, my Facebook notifications popped up and showed me that 7 years prior, I had given a Facebook Live speech titled, Are You Disrespecting Yourself? And it was like somebody, I felt like Tyson did the other night. Like somebody punched me and did a knockout. But at the event, they asked people to stand up and share what's on their hearts, what's going on with what they're learning. I stood up and through tears shared with an audience of 300 other coaches that this fact that 7 years before I had given this speech. And I realized when that alert came in that I was disrespecting myself and I was disrespecting anyone that my life would ever touch. And I stood up right there and then and I said, never again, no more playing small, I'm moving forward. And this song just reinforced that for me.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I think sometimes during the journey, in mid-step, in mid-projects, we lose, I call it the faith walk. You know, we lose the get up and go. We lose not so much the sense of self, but the is this the right thing right now? So I think I love your encouragement to kind of keep going. I've learned in the process sometimes that when I pause, it's because the universe is about to send me another amazing gift, like Kimberly Lechneck and Jan Jeremias and Ari's and Lisa and some of our amazing guests today. There's some other healthy fuel that someone wants me to really sense, take into account, help strengthen the process or the journey. Really grateful in the process of launching a full audio series, which really wasn't on the plan. It wasn't on the calendar. I was going to host some master classes to promote what originally started out as a beta course, which is now a coaching program, creating connections to scale. And I smiled because in the process of trying something new to deliver it, to kind of create conversations to reach people where they were, that the lesson underneath to really kind of keep going, the reminder of the why to keep going. I think sometimes we can lose that without a song. And I'm loving that you and our amazing guests are suggesting fabulous songs that we can have these conversations around, because we can lose the drive, we can lose the will. One of the human design coaches that I follow, Karen Curry Parker, who has a system called Quantum Human Design. I'm really appreciative of her because she had a love seat a little bit over a year ago. And in the love seat, I had a chance to meet one of our amazing guests, Heather Travis. And in the love seat, Karen basically said to me straight out, she says, Mel, if it's not big enough, you're going to burn out. And I was just like, oh my goodness. We think sometimes of what causes us to pause and like mid step. And I was always allergic to the word pivot. On the other hand, especially working with clients and working with others, I can be the idea girl or feel what you're calling in terms of the activator. I think sometimes we lose that ability to help activate us, and that there can be a superpower in there, just possessing that skill. So I love that you're really talking about transferring it in a really deliberate, mindful way, because sometimes we overthink it. It's one of the reasons why before grateful today I put the word reflections. We're approaching Thanksgiving in the US, and friends in Canada celebrated it recently. And we don't really share gratitude or what we're grateful for in a way, the reminder that we're lighting something up for others. And, I think of it sometimes that if we could make that vitamin G or turn that into a superpower that could light up somebody else's day, even if it's just for seconds. I saw a post on LinkedIn earlier, and I really appreciate Melissa Houston for sharing it. It was a post about someone's experience recently with AI. And I'm just at a point of really starting to explore that with myself and my team and try and figure out where that works, which kind of doesn't always feel like it's in balance with, genuine relationships or with the introvert core. And in the process, reading this article earlier about a post that ended up in Newsweek about somebody's really horrific experience in the process of trying to prepare for a school assignment. It really reminded me we really need to keep paying forward that gratitude or what we're grateful for in our interpersonal relationships. We don't always pause to say thank you. Today I'm delighted. It's Monday, and here got a beautiful happy Thanksgiving card from our aunt and uncle we had a chance to see over the summer, and a thank you note for baby shower gifts. And it it just reminds you it's truly the little things. And I'll keep these cards up for a while. I'm starting to do that again because our days of snail mail, we have a lot less of it, and but somewhere in there, I think the pause to share what's inside so that it brightens someone else's day, it brightens someone else's step. Kimberly and I really appreciate it because I never know what Kimberly and I are going to talk about next. So, Kimberly, you got to come join me on an Impossible Live one day, and pick a bunch of songs, Kimberly, and we'll just talk about them, for a bit. But I never know what we'll talk about, and it reminds me to really be grateful, because you can just show up and hang out with Kimberly and she'll take you someplace else. It'll lift you up, lift your thought up, lift your eyes up, lift our attention up. Because I think we're losing that. We're losing the ability all the time to really show up and be fully present. And I really love you're grateful from that perspective. So Shawn, tell us about this podcast that you started, and
So,
you're hosting a podcast, you're having events, you are like activating everywhere. But let's start with the podcast. Where can we join you to tune in?
so I actually joined a group. It's called NaPod Pomo. It's National Podcasters Posting Month. And it's a group, and we're inspiring each other to do one episode for every day of November. And it was something that I wanted to do. Actually, I held off doing it. Like, I went to a 5-day podcasting challenge, and I had all these ideas, and then I just let it sit. But as part of, I launched Monday Mind Shift, which is a LinkedIn audio event, which I did earlier. And today we were talking about limiting beliefs. But I launched Daily Power Boost, Ignite Your Potential. What I wanted with the theme of the posting every day, they're micro podcasts. There's so many great events, great podcasts that I would love, or YouTube videos that I would love to sit and watch based on the title, based on the description. But, you know, time is the ultimate commodity. It's the thing that we all get the same, and I can't make more of it. When it's gone, it's gone. Unlike money or other things, you know, time, when it's lost, it's gone. I don't get it back. So I did these 5 to 7 minute just power boost, you know, to get you through your day, you know, topics like limiting beliefs and gratitude. And I think the most recent episode I recorded was emotional intelligence for leaders. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really having fun with it. You can find it on Spotify. It's also on Apple Podcasts. I will put the link afterwards in the event page because I'm not that good at juggling this stuff. I'm trying to have my focus. Thank you, Mel. So, you know, when I looked at my audience analytics, I've got a global audience. I have Taiwan and Turkey and Guatemala and Korea, like they're everywhere. Japan, it was amazing. And it's just been a great journey. The experience of it is so powerful. And this song is part of the podcast. I have a nice little opener, and I play the main part, the meaty part, right? You know, that gets to the chorus. I'm grateful. Yeah, yeah. I'm stable. Yeah, yeah. And then I get into the meat of the podcast, and then I wrap it up with that grateful chorus again. And I just love it. And it reminds me every day to, you know, stop and think, what am I grateful for today? You know, I used to joke every day I wake up and I look at the obituaries, and as long as my name's not in there, it's a good day.
I have to thank you for that because somebody I met once in an elevator was saying that the reminder, you know, someone was asking him, "How are you today?" And the person said, "I woke up today without a toe tag." And I remember thinking what a provocative answer it was, and it really was the reminder, you know, that we really can get caught up in the lane of of what's blocking us, whether people call it imposter syndrome or running into our fears or just trying to figure out where the next step is supposed to take us to guide us. And I think one of the hard things about it, like you're saying, can be the where do I go next? What will you do after the 12 days are up? Will you continue this past November, or will you turn it into a daily, you know, a daily vitamin we can enjoy, or a weekly one, or just change the frequency?
No, it's going to be a challenge, but I welcome the challenge. I fully intend to keep it going as a daily micro podcast. I have my wife actually talks to one of the audience members and he says, I love it. And he's given me feedback. He's like, it's great. I love it. I listen to it every day. In fact, he was late to his meeting with her yesterday. She's like, why were you late? She's like, I was listening to your husband's podcast.
Don't get in trouble with that beautiful woman who is bringing you baked goods. Just be careful there. Be careful there as you're activating. Be careful.
Oh, I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
She's
is
an
wonderful. I think.
amazing,
I'm sorry. Go
you know,
go right ahead.
she's an amazing woman and definitely top of my gratitude list.
And we're very, very grateful for those who are giving us the wind beneath our wings. Not just for their support, but for their style, for their encouragement, their inspiration. And in a lovely way. We never know where it's coming from or when it's coming from. So besides starting the podcast and speaking on more stages, and I love too that we're touching on our amazing families, and boy, we're really grateful for them. And the real reminder, when you can, let the family members and the friends and the extended family members and those ideal amazing clients and cool collaborators cheer for them while we can, when we can, while we're here. I was watching one of our prior episodes, Love's in Need of Love Today. And I have to thank one of our new YouTube fans, besides just loving it because it's one of the Stevie Wonder songs I adore, is somebody was popping in and really was just reminding me as I was looking back at it. We really do need that light part. Otherwise, what's inside, we don't necessarily share it. And I think that's one of the things I love about your inner potential activator, because I kept talking about our intangible potential, the stuff that's locked up. We don't necessarily let it out to play, but if we could let the gratitude out, as Kimberly's sharing us with the hashtag gratitude, and really what what we could do to help others lift up a little bit in a world that doesn't always encourage the liftoff, the ignition,
Mhm.
the switching into different lanes. Sean, also, while we're grateful, and I'm really having so much fun watching you stepping up on more stages. What in the world does that feel like? Just the step towards them. How are you feeling about that?
Overall, it's interesting. I never realized it, but I did drama in school, like junior high school, loved it. Uh, when I moved to Guatemala, I got involved in community theater, loved it. But about 6 months ago, my wife was working on some training courses in HR learning and development, because that's her magic power or superpower. And we did the personality test. And my result came back as ESFP-T, title entertainer. Bam, all made sense. I love being on stage, whether it's acting or speaking, sharing a message. In January of this year, I was part of a virtual summit, did a speech called Stop Being Nice. It was all about people pleasing, how we should be kind and giving, but not nice. Because I think a lot of us get trapped in that nice for nice sake or nice for acceptance, and that doesn't help anybody. And then, I got invited to another virtual summit, and I just, it thrills me. I will say, I get the butterflies, I get the nerves, I get like anybody else. In fact, I hope that never goes away, because what I do is I reframe that as power juice, right? I was reading Psycho-Cybernetics, and he talked about a guy who was a very prolific speaker, and he'd done it so many times that he didn't feel anything before, and before he was speaking, and his speaking quality dropped when he no longer felt that buzz before speaking. And actually, Saturday, I was telling Melanie, I auditioned for the Great American Speak Off, which was amazing, intense. I didn't get selected. I didn't get a golden ticket, but the experience, I went in with this attitude like, I'm going to enjoy this experience, figure out what I can learn from it to improve, make some connections. I just love sharing a message, whether it's on my podcast, that's on the weekly, it's something like this, or my goal, my dream is to speak on stages, live or virtual, for other events, because I've learned that there's powerful messages in me that people are waiting to hear, and if I can inspire somebody, then that just lights me up.
You reminded me to connect you also with amazing Lynn Coleman, who has a podcast about power. It took a while, and I'd have to say it took a while from the creating some space or some distance from some energies that were not necessarily the most positive, more passive aggressive. I Years ago, I had a magnet that a dear friend mentioned to me one day. He says, "You're attracting bullies. I've never seen anything like it." He says, "You're attracting bullies." So it's the real reminder sometimes we're not necessarily in the mold. We're more what somebody considers maybe the disruptor, or they're not feeling that our energy is directed in their direction in a way that they're welcoming, or that they're feeling or encouraging. So I love what you're saying about that, because I think that process of speaking on different stages and presenting really helped me figure out what lane I was most comfortable in. And I joke all the time because my family teases me. I love those wave runners, the sea-doos, and I get in trouble because where everybody else is not where I am. We went to Tahiti, to Bora Bora. I'd never had a chance to drive one of these things before. We were so in sync that I kept flipping us. Like you're on a vacation, you're totally relaxed. We were aligned, we were in love, and every time I moved in whatever direction I wasn't supposed to, I was supposed to move in the opposite direction. That was the one thing I learned about. But I laughed because in that process, it helped me learn to slow down, because I was really enjoying the turtles under the water and the different patterns. And I really had to learn in the reflection space to really stay in that lane. So I'm excited for the opportunity to do that with really cool clients and collaborators and on projects. I think one of the things about that is that as we're on different stages, some of them feel like they're made for us. Some of them feel like, we could grow into this space. But I think you're being welcomed on more stages is really a sign of the love and the amazing energy that you're putting out. So we're going to continue celebrating and cheering you on as you're stepping on bigger and bigger stages, and just enjoy that. And really, congratulations on your podcast and on reaching bigger, higher, and in some cases, you're really helping to spread an amazing vibe that we really need more of in our world. So thank you for all you're doing to kind of brighten our fragile world. Is there somebody somewhere in terms of the wonderful clients you're trying to work with and people you're trying to share programs with? What's a way for somebody who maybe doesn't feel the ignition today or the ignition switch to kind of access what's happening internally with them or the comfort to be able to express it outwardly? Where would you suggest that they start, Shawn?
Well, I'll go back to what you were talking about. It's wonderful to go fast and be a disruptor. It's great, but part of my life has been balancing, you know, going fast, pushing hard, and then slowing down and just being. I recently read a book. I had seen it on social media. There were little snippets, and I said, I have to read that book. It's called The Things You Can Only See When You Slow Down. And it was impactful because it is so true. Sometimes we have to slow down and look. As the old saying goes, stop and smell the roses, right? So take that moment and look at your life. That's what happened with me at the end of 2022 is I looked at my life and life wasn't bad. We had enough. We were eating, doing what we wanted to do, going on vacation the way we wanted to go. But, when I stopped and took a pause and I go, this isn't where I want to be. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything was good. We had a comfortable home. We had everything we needed, but I just wasn't satisfied. I wasn't fulfilled. So ask yourself, am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Am I satisfied where I am right now? You might have a minimum wage job, or you might be making 6 figures a year. It doesn't matter. Is what you're doing where you're supposed to be? Like you said, is it in your lane? Is it your purpose? Is it aligned with your values? That's what I want to drive people to is do the thing that lights them up, that makes them feel fulfilled, that they have the energy to give to their family, to their relationships. My LinkedIn tag-in says, empowering entrepreneurs, founders, leaders, coaches who want to achieve more in life, business, and relationships. We're not compartmentalized. We're holistic beings. We have life. We have our business, our work. We have relationships, and all of it matters. And there's no reason we can't have what we want in all of those areas. And that's really my driving force, is to help people pause and a question I'll ask, what do you want? And if they answer, first off, I'm looking for, often you get well, I don't want to work so hard. No, that's not what you want. That's what you don't want. What do you want? And often they'll keep asking. They'll keep, I don't want. No. What do you want? And what else? And what else? What does your perfect life look like? Dream big. So we have a target, because one of my mentors told me, every one of us has unlimited potential, but we have to have a target. And whenever I say that, I think of the Turkish guy that got viral during the Olympics, because all of his competitors had special goggles and special outfits, and he's sitting there looking like, Al Pacino in Godfather with his gun, just getting silver medal in the Olympics, if I remember right. He knew what he was aiming at, and he aimed. So, ask yourself, am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I where I want to be? Is this really it? Because I guarantee there's more.
As Kimberly says, there is always more. And I think sometimes, too, one of the things that's hard and challenging about that is kind of defining that in terms where we're comfortable sharing that with others. We're used to sometimes having those dreams and staying silent about them, not really saying them out loud, treating it more like a whisper than something that we can share in full color. What I love about what you're saying is you're really reminding me I, as a coach, occasionally don't ask such deep, probing questions. I prefer to really lean back and listen. And in there, sometimes to really discover the keys to alignment or realignment. And I think that's something, like you say, we only know it internally uh, when we're in the process, and sometimes not during. One of the my coaches, I love Bryn Tillman of Social Sales Link. Bryn always says, "Slow down, hurry up." And I want to thank you for helping us create a space to pause today, to show up with gratitude, for inspiring my newest gratitude journal, as opposed to digging out or dusting off another one, of really embracing the space uh, and kind of dreaming out loud, which is something that we don't always do. So I really want to thank you, Shawn, for joining us today, and to encourage everyone who hasn't had a chance yet. This is the name of Shawn's podcast, Ignite Your Potential. Please share it with somebody who you think can benefit. Reach out to him if you have a chance to invite or welcome other people onto your or larger stages. It's something he's really looking for. And at the same time, just want to thank you for joining us, for creating time and space in your busy schedules to just pop in and join us, whether you're joining us for a few minutes or you're catching a replay on YouTube or on Meta or LinkedIn or whatever other platform. Just let us know something you thought of, and maybe share it with somebody to help brighten their day. And if there's somebody who you are grateful to and you haven't had a chance to reach out to them recently, really been encouraging people, take a time, take a moment, even if it's 5 minutes, just reach out to them via phone, via text, via snail mail, via whatever, however you can. Just really share it, because you don't know who else will benefit from learning how grateful you are, and from a little more gratitude in their day to bring them some sunshine. Shawn, thank you so much for joining us today and for the opportunity. I am looking forward to the next song you discover while walking to share, to to guide our future dialogues. And I really just want to thank you all for joining us. And we hope you have a magnificent day filled with opportunities and possibilities. Stay safe, stay well, stay inspired, and please stay in touch and take great, great care.